Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Cardano and its native token, ADA. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and remember to stake your ADA with the ITC2 stake pool. If you're unfamiliar with how to stake it, I will leave a link in the description below that'll provide a step-by-step tutorial on how to do so. Let's go ahead and jump in. So right now, ADA is trading for a very modest $2.38. Clearly, no one's getting out of bed for a 238 ADA, but I told you guys, don't be surprised if we see a lull after the release of smart contracts, right? Don't be surprised by this at all, because what's likely going to happen is we have all this hype going into smart contracts, and then we release smart contracts, and then we got to figure out, okay, who's actually going to use it? Now, again, I do think that Cardano will ultimately prevail and that it will have a vibrant ecosystem, but in the short term, we have some hoops to jump through. Okay, we're probably gonna have some growing pains, but I do think we'll get there. So I think that we are currently entering, or we've already entered the phase again with ADA of why doesn't ADA ever do anything? And we've been in these phases before, as many of you guys know. We were in that phase over here at around 10 cents or so. We were in that phase over here when we were at around $1.20. Now we're in it where we've sort of dropped back down the last couple of weeks. Makes a lot of sense considering the hype going into smart contracts. Recently dropped just a little bit. If we were to continue to drop, maybe the bull market support band would provide some support. That's what's provided us support in the past, more or less. That currently ranges from $1.83 to $1.86. So pretty tight range there on the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. So meaning, even another 50-cent drop would still keep us above, more or less, the bull market support band. So my thinking is that ADA, similar to Ethereum in the last cycle, we're in this long reaccumulation, and I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know if it's going to take another month, if it's going to take another 3 months. I would speculate that it's probably going to take more than just a few weeks before we'll break out to say higher prices, like hopefully $5 or something. My guess is it's probably going to take more than a few weeks. We'll need some time for people to actually see who's going to use Cardano, who's actually going to use these smart contracts, what type of applications are going to be built on top of Cardano, and once that ecosystem is moving and vibrant, then I think that'll speak for itself, and hopefully at that point we'll see the price continue to appreciate. Of course, all of this always depends on what Bitcoin's doing, and as long as Bitcoin is above the 20-week SMA, which right now it is, right? Right now it is, but again, Cardano's coming off the release of smart contracts, so there's a little bit more uncertainty in the air now than there was a few weeks ago. Now we got to figure out, all right, who's going to use it? We've been wondering this forever, and again, I do think we'll come out the other side, but that's the current phase that we're in. And note that if Bitcoin were to ultimately go, say, parabolic or something, then it's going to leave all altcoins behind anyways. Okay, that would be a very, very likely path for that to happen as Bitcoin goes parabolic. If Bitcoin dumps again, we would expect the altcoin Bitcoin valuations to bleed as well. The ADA Bitcoin valuation might be an interesting one to watch because, again, this is sort of one we've been slowly climbing the ladder here. Okay, we started all the way down here at 604. We're talking about the Bitcoin, the Satoshi value. So 604, then we came up to it at around 1877, then back down to it at 3237. So I don't know if we keep doing this same type of thing, maybe we'll come back down to it at close to 4,000 or so, maybe a little bit higher, and then we'll continue slowly climbing the ladder. But that's sort of what I'm looking at right now with ADA. Sometimes people give me a lot of flack for not being more bullish on ADA and not saying it's going to go to $100 this year, like you will see on a lot of other channels. But again, where were they when I was telling people that they should be looking into Cardano at 2 cents? Where were they? They were nowhere to be found. So if they just first start talking about Cardano when it hits $1, and then they're gonna say, well, a price prediction of anything less than $50 for the cycle is FUD, then what they're doing is they're basically compensating for the fact of being late to the party because they have to make you believe that it's going to go much higher than when they first started talking about it. So I wouldn't just write off more conservative price predictions just because they don't agree with where you want it to go. I would say that if you're thinking Cardano or other projects can go to market capitalizations of $5 to $10 trillion this cycle especially just doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, Bitcoin right now is not even at a $1 trillion market capitalization. And so the idea that ADA could go to a $5 trillion market capitalization this market cycle is a bit absurd. And I know that might hurt some people's feelings because you might be dreaming that it's going to go to these crazy valuations in 3 months. But I'm here to tell you, it's just not going to happen. I mean, a more realistic approach for ADA, but still bullish, in my opinion, would be we just kind of grind it out here for a little bit. And best case scenario, we hold the 20-week, and then maybe we continue higher, something like that. Another bullish scenario, but is more short-term bearish, is if Bitcoin gets another shakeout, let's say down to say the let's say $38,000 or $41,000 around the 20-week SMA, then we could even go below the 20-week SMA again and then continue moving along and then break out later on. So I do think Cardano, it's come a long way so far, all right? Because we started at 2 cents, now we're trading at just below $2.40. So it's come a very long ways so far. I do think we have a ways to go, but I would also argue that the current ways we have to go before what I would consider to be probably a market cycle peak is less than what we've already done, okay? Because, I mean, at this point, ADA's already put in well over 100x. I don't think we're going to put in another 100x before the market cycle peak is in, because I don't think we're going to go to $200 this market cycle. But that's not necessarily a bad thing to have that information, because if you assume we're going to go to $150 or something, which again, these are price predictions put out elsewhere, if you assume that has to happen, then it can leave you completely wrecked at some point in the future. So let's be pragmatic. Let's look at ADA for what it is and say, all right, we've had a pretty successful last year and a half. We recently just launched smart contracts. We're going to see, okay, who's actually going to use these smart contracts. We'll slowly build out the ecosystem behind Cardano, and then hopefully we can push higher slowly. That's better, in my opinion, than moving up too quickly, right? Slow and steady is always better, I think, because it's more sustainable, for one thing, to go up slow and steady than to have a parabolic move. So the other thing, too, is you can be earning interest every step of the way. So again, make sure you guys take your ADA with the ITC stake pool and go earn rewards on your ADA. The other thing we'll look at again quickly is the ADAETH valuation. So far, it's still holding up, pretty much as a champ. I mean, it's still up at these valuations well above the prior local tops from the bear market / reaccumulation phase. In order for us to get to a new local high for the ADAETH valuation, we would need to rally about 48 or 49%. For us to actually get to the all-time high ADA Bitcoin valuation, which we all hope happens at some point this cycle, say it's probably a ways off and probably not until next year, we would need to go up 79%. Okay, now for ADA to go up 79% now for a constant Bitcoin, it would actually put the valuation of ADA at around $4.27. Okay, but again, this is for a constant Bitcoin valuation, which we know the price of Bitcoin is not constant. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and remember to check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. Definitely subscribe, click the bell icon to turn on your notifications, and I will see you next time. Bye.